You're watching KSBW Channel 8, Salinas, Monterey, Santa Cruz. This is Feedback at 5 with Theresa Wright.
Hi, I'm Theresa, and welcome to a brand new year. We're back with Feedback at 5, and since it's beginning of the new year, we thought we'd talk about changes. And in this particular case, we're talking about making changes within the schools, changes within their homes, in regards to domestic violence. So let me introduce my guest who's here, and we're going to talk about why the program that she has can really make a difference in your life. This is Julianne Leavy, who's sitting next to me, and she is the founder and the executive director of Harmony at Home. And I want to thank you very much for being here. And it is a brand new year, and we are talking about a subject that's really a serious one and a rough one, but you know, with the programs that you offer, you can really turn around lives. And so, you know, 2011, this is, you know, it's time to make some changes. So, so thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you.
Tell me about, because we're talking domestic violence, is that the issue? So
well,
give us a sort of a view, or violence,
well,
what are we talking about?
Domestic violence and community violence, really, that's a big issue right now that the children that we're working with are dealing with every day. And not just in Salinas, around the county, everybody's impacted by the violence that's been going on. But it often starts in the home.
So tell me about your program, and because it was your dream child to come up with what you call Harmony at Home, and it makes sense to me when you hear the name of your organization, Harmony at Home. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to bring harmony within the home and within the lives of the people that you're working with. So tell me about the program.
Well, it really started for me from just a deep passion to help children that have been harmed. Child abuse is just something that I just could never stomach, and I needed to do something about it. So that's really the origins of the passion behind the work. And 6 years ago, I started Harmony at Home because I'd been doing this work for, you know, I've been doing it for 15 years, and I wanted to bring all the programs that I've been working on together under an umbrella and start really effecting change. So we have programs in the schools, Sticks and Stones, which is helping children learn alternatives to violence and healthy ways to be in relationships. Our goals are to help break the cycle of violence and abuse for children and families.
You have a number of programs, and we're going to walk through them as we go through this. But give people a little sense of your background in terms of your profession, if you will. So basically, I kind of gave you some history on my passion behind it, and that's what propelled me to become a marriage and family therapist. In 1993, I started graduate school, and the first cases I had in the schools were children that were in violent homes, and I recognized right away that this was the work that I wanted to do. So I continued my internships working in the schools. I started developing programs for children and families that were enmeshed in violence and abuse, and just continued. And like, as I mentioned, 6 years ago, I decided to bring those programs under the umbrella of Harmony at Home so I could get out into the community, raise funds to affect change on a larger scale. Can you talk a little bit about the effect that violence has on a child in the home? Because there's, I mean, you can talk about physical violence, you can talk about emotional violence, but how does that manifest itself within the child, and then when they go out into the community? What do you see? Because, you know, intellectually, I think we sort of get that it's going to have a negative impact, but here in the core of the individual, what happens to them?
Well, I think what a lot of people may not realize is that when a baby is in utero, it's being impacted if there's violence in a home, impacted in the amount of the stress hormone, cortisol, that is going into that baby through the mother. So a child is already being impacted, deeply impacted, when they're in utero. So it starts then, if violence is in the home during that time. So then it's just a matter of this child being brought into the world in an environment that is constant stress. So the way a child's brain is developing in a home where there's violence is very traumatic, and the brain is being altered. The chemical in that little child's body, the chemicals are being altered so that this child may be prone to depression, this child may be prone to addictions. I mean, we don't know, you know, exactly what direction this child's going to go, but we do know the brain is going to be altered, and that is something that you will never be able to change. What we can change are the behaviors down the road, but in a developing child's body and brain, that is impacted for the rest of his or her life. So that's the physical, you know, impairment that a child suffers from being raised in a violent home, and the emotional trauma that a child suffers is, I mean, it's as many people are aware of, post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, children struggle with the effects of trauma throughout their life when they've been exposed to that. So they need intervention. They need help. And
if not, it carries over into adulthood.
Well, if they don't get help, the cycle will repeat.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do at Harmony at Home. We're trying to break the cycle of violence and abuse and teach these children that go through this, and their parents. We want to impact parents as well. You know, that you can stop this, you can change it, you have choices. And that's what we're doing every day in the work.
So the work that you do, is it for people in Monterey County, Monterey Peninsula? Is it specific to a certain geographic area, or what?
The work is throughout Monterey County. We're focused right now in the schools in Salinas. However, we have programs for children and families around the county as well.
Okay, so let's walk through the programs, and as we do that, we'll put up the graphic on the screen so we can start. So start with the first one, Adopt a School. What is Adopt a School?
Well, Adopt a School is a way to get community support if there is an individual or an organization or a foundation that wants to take on one of the elementary schools or junior highs that we're in. They can sponsor it through funding the counseling programs that we offer.
And then the second one is pretty self-explanatory, affordable counseling for families.
Right. We're offering now at our offices in Carmel, we're offering sliding fee scale counseling. We are the first organization, nonprofit organization in Carmel and Carmel Valley to offer this to families.
And Sticks and Stones, it's a program in the schools.
Sticks and Stones is the school-based counseling program that I developed in 1997 that is targeting children through elementary school and junior high school that have been exposed to violence and trauma, and we're teaching those children to learn alternatives to violence.
I love the name of this program, and it reminds me of going back to the thing that you heard as a child, Sticks and Stones, right?
Yeah.
And break your bones, but names will never hurt you. And we know that that's not true.
We know that that's not true, and I often hear from children that I work with is that the emotional abuse that they endure, the words, the cruel words, can be more painful even than the bruising, the hitting, the violence. Yeah, so it goes deep.
And then the next program, What About the Children? What is that?
What About the Children is a program that was developed in the Santa Clara County under a program called Kids Turn. We brought it to Monterey County in 1997 and adapted it to our county. I was involved with developing the children's portion of it, and it's for divorcing and separating families and helping those families transition through the trauma of a divorce or a separation. And we have programs for the children and for the parents that run simultaneously so they can start to talk about the divorce and the separation and communicate around it. And it's a 4-week program. We offer it in Monterey and in Salinas as well.
What About the Children, right?
What About the Children, yeah.
Okay, and then Teen Enrichment Summer Camp. This one I really love. Tell me about that.
This is my baby. We just, one of them, I guess. We just completed our 8th camp this last summer, and you're going to get to meet, obviously, tonight a couple of the young women that are involved that I've actually been involved with for some time now. You'll get to meet Savannah, who I've known since she was 16, and she's 22 now, and Edna, who is 17 now, and I've known her for a couple years as well. They are perfect examples of our teen program, of getting involved with a program, having a lot of trauma in their lives and working through it and learning to make good choices. And so the camp is a collaboration between the Big Sur Land Trust and Harmony at Home. The Land Trust offers us a property, one of their beautiful properties to go out on, and we offer a week, almost a week, about 6 days to the girls. It's a therapeutic camp. We're up on a property for days. We're living together, we're eating together, we're doing group counseling together and playing together and hiking, and it's a wonderful week to really get close and to really make some changes.
And this is specifically for girls, this summer camp. But your program is open to anybody. The other programs are open to everybody.
Yes.
But this is specific
for girls.
Why did you focus on girls for this?
Well, probably because I'm a girl, or a woman, I should say, and it's really comfortable to bring a group of girls up and spend that week with them. I think if we develop a boys program, which we probably will at some point, we'll want some male leaders to take that on, because they're spending, intimate time with young men in a setting, and everybody needs to feel really comfortable with that.
Are some of the girls in this program are the girls that probably do not sometimes get to a summer camp or have the opportunity to go to a summer camp? So this is another factor.
Absolutely. This is an opportunity for these young women to experience a summer camp that very likely their families wouldn't be able to afford. And we're able to do this because of our community is sponsoring these girls through this camp.
And one more thing before we go to break, The Innocent Victims.
The Innocent Victims is a handbook that I wrote in 2002, which I was inspired because of all the children that I was witnessing being harmed by domestic violence. So it's a book for the relative caregivers of children that have been exposed to domestic violence, and it's nationally distributed.
All right. Let's go to a break, and then when we come back, I want to talk to you about Choices, the film that you made. So we're going to take a short break. As we go to the break, we'll put information up on your screen, and we'll come right back.
Thank you.
You're watching Feedback at 5 with Theresa Wright.
Julianne, we're back, and I want to ask you about Choices, because there's another powerful tool that you have for your program. So tell me about Choices.
Well, Choices is a film that that was developed 3 years ago. Basically, the city of Marina came to me. They had 30 at-risk youth that if they did not receive intervention right within the next couple months, they would be incarcerated. That's what I was told. So we were asked, what can you do to help us? So there was no money. So basically, we decided to put on a play. I wrote a play, and we performed it to 600 youth at the Los Arboles Middle School. It was very impactful. It was very effective. I decided to make it into a film so that the more youth within our county could witness this. So that's how it was born. It's about making positive choices.
And we have it on the screen as you're talking.
Right.
And these are vignettes. And in fact, Edna, who's going to be on next, was also in this.
Yes.
So describe what they're doing in the film.
Okay, so we have a boy's role, as you can see, and a girl's role. And the situation is that they were raised in very difficult circumstances, and they had choices they could make based on their life circumstances. And one part of the film is showing them making real poor choices and what the outcome is of that. Then we switch to them deciding to go back in time, which we can't do in real life, but in the film we could do it, where they go back and they decide to make positive choices, and then how their lives come out from that. So it's showing young people that you can really have terrible circumstances, but you can still make good choices. It's really up to you, that we all have the power to make good choices. So that's the goal of the film. It's to start the conversation with youth. We want to bring it into the schools, start talking about it, and we feel that this is a medium that will get the conversation started. Okay. That's the goal.
Well, great. That's perfect. So on that note, we're going to take another break. We'll put up the information on how folks can reach you, and then we're going to meet a couple of young ladies and someone who is actually in that film, and ladies who are making good choices. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.